First of all, good afternoon and happy holidays. And appreciate the opportunity to come and say hello again. And I'll really answer any of your questions, but I wanted to just bring up some things on the season and touch. And just so very proud of the 18 individuals that we were able to honor with our seniors in this senior class and everything that they went through. And Team 119 in this football team. I think the biggest thing I can say about them is they never let adversity define who we were or who we are. And I think it's a great illustration in today's world of instant gratification and want something now with a group of 17 to 22, 23-year-old individuals. They always talk about adversity, and I always say it, adversity is the greatest life lessons are learned through adversity, but if it's so great, how come nobody wants to experience it? And the team experienced it, and we grew from it, and we grew closer and closer, continue to develop and get better and better and better, and that's a tribute to everyone in our football organization and our character and our competitive character. When you build a football program, you go through 4 phases of building a football program, and the first phase of that 4-step process is building a culture. It starts in a locker room, it starts with standards, and it starts with expectations and an uncompromising culture with the way you're going to do things, the way you go to class, the way you set standards in the community, your style of play, your capacity for work and practice, your practice habits. All those are built into your culture. Then the second thing is you're working to be competitive. Competitive in recruiting, competitive on the field. That's the next phase. Then the third phase is winning. And winning close games. I kind of chuckle when all of a sudden you're making progress and a 2-point victory isn't good enough anymore. And last thing I know, it's all about winning the football game, and in the Southeastern Conference, there's very few uncontested victories. Everybody has players on scholarship, everybody's investing money in their programs, everybody's continued to grow and elevate their programs, and winning's hard. And in our industry, half of our industry loses each week. And it's being able to have a culture that you can handle the natural adversities in the clutter and distractions that a long football season brings about. And then the fourth and final stage is learning how to handle winning, and that's sustained success. And how do your players understand the more you win, the more that's at stake. And what they're finding out is when you're at the University of Tennessee, everybody plays their best against you. When you play at home in Neyland Stadium, everybody's excited to play in that great venue. So you're going to get everybody's A game, and that's a responsibility that starts in your preparation week in and week out. If you look at this football team, and I've talked to many sports psychiatrists, I've talked to many coaches, and in a 12-game season, if your guys are at their mental peak for 4 games, they've been ready to play. And I can honestly tell you this football team was at their mental peak for 12 games. And that's very hard to do. And we talk about a snap and clear mentality with everything that we do. You play the snap and you play it to the best of your ability, and then you move on regardless of the results. And I think our players have been able to do that. I think some things I want to point out, kind of like a proud papa, so to speak, to make sure that people truly understand how far we've come in this football program in a very short period of time. Most regular season wins since 2007. I'm proud of this. We average 100,584 fans per game. That is the most since the 2008 season. And I thank you for all your support, your loyal support, making Neyland Stadium a great home field advantage. When we go on the road, we take over, we rent the stadium with Sea of Orange, and that's what it's all about, and that's what makes us the best college football program in America. In terms of some things on the field, we won the national championship in kickoff return yardage at 33.4. We were #1 in the country. We just missed winning another national championship. We were second in punt return average at 18.3, and we had 6 special teams touchdowns, the most of anyone in the country. And how we do it is every coach is responsible for a special teams unit. So we don't have one individual who runs all the units. And I just think that's competitive. Our coaches are competitive. So Coach Elder runs the kickoff return team. Coach Azani runs the punt return team. And they get to pick what individuals they want on those special teams. Coach Strip has the kickoff team. I have the punt team. And so we get to hand pick who we want. So it's like a merit badge if you get picked to be on their special teams. And that means something to those young individuals. And so what it's done is it's developed a competitive edge in our football program. And if you get picked to be on special teams, it's an honor and a privilege. Plus, we're the only team, very few teams in the country, practice special teams your entire gamut every practice. We practice every phase of special teams every day because we believe it's a skill set. It's like throwing the hitch by the quarterback and catching footballs by the wideouts. You have to practice. The hardest thing to do is on a kickoff return team is to turn your back and sprint 30 yards and turn around what we call speed to power and block an individual who's had a 30, 40-yard running head start on you while you had to blindly turn and get your body around to block him. So that's a skill set that you have to continue to practice every single day. And our players have bought into it. We talk about IRU, indisputable role understanding, and they understand their roles. And, you know, we have one individual that all he does is he starts on kickoff return. And I said, well, you may have 2, you may have 4, you may have 5 plays a game, but you're going to be the best left guard in the country on kickoff return because that's your role and that's how you're going to help us win. And when you start putting it in those terms, they start to say, you know what, I'm going to be the best at my craft. I'm going to be the best in the country at what I do. In terms of offense and defense, we finished second in the SEC in rushing yards. Last year at this time, we were 13th. That's monumental improvement. And I looked at the stats. We played 4 out of the top 10 defenses in the country. And I want to say we played 7 out of the top 18 defenses in the country. And when you look at managing a football game, and everyone says, well, what's going on with the offense? So our offense has taken tremendous strides. We're 4th in scoring at 34 points a game. Last year we were 10th. We're 5th in total offense. Last year we were 11th. We were 1st in 3rd down offense of possessing the football. We were 1st in 4th down offense. And the thing that excites me, we were number 1 in fewest penalty yards and penalties for the 2nd year in a row. And that's a disciplined football team. We were number 1 defensively in 3rd down defense. And those are all situational football. But when you go into a game, you have a designed game plan to win the game. This is what it's going to take. And we've really stressed to our players about them really understanding complementary football. And what is complementary football in all 3 phases? And that's offense playing to the defense, defense playing to the offense, and special teams coming in. And football is a game of field position. So sometimes when it's 3rd and 11 and the quarterback throws the ball away, that's the best play going because it's the only play. Punt and play field position. Sometimes choosing to kick a